All right. Heidi, welcome to our center, Christine. My name's Alicia Merriman, and I'm glad you came in to see us today. Do you like to go by Christine, or is there something else you prefer?
Christine is fine.
Okay. And just to go over like our roadmap for our appointment here, we're a 30-minute time block, excuse me. And just to go and go over what you're feeling currently, get a little past information. Everything just helps to create kind of a plan of what you want, out of respect for your self-determination, how you want to navigate this. Anything I present is just suggestions. You do not have to jump on board with every single thing that's out there because there's so many different things that work for different people. I never release any of your information to anybody unless there is a possibility that you're at risk to hurting yourself or someone else. I am obligated to notify the appropriate people. And then, before you came in here, you signed confidentiality notices, payment notices, all that. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Well, I'm glad you decided to come in. So tell me a little bit about what brought you here today.
Well, I've been having some issues at work and with my family and friends. Everything's just kind of falling apart.
Mhm.
I feel sad all the time. Like I don't have joy in my life
Sure.
anymore over anything really. I get irritable. Just feel empty.
Okay. All right. And how does that make you feel? I mean, within your family and that's as an individual.
Well, um, I mean, I don't really feel like being around anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really kind of separated myself from my friends and my family.
Sure.
And I mean, it's caused a lot of tension. I've lost some friendships over how I feel. And, um, it's because my friends, they thought that I didn't want to be around them anymore, like they weren't important to me. So
Right.
I've lost touch with several of them, and it's
Okay. Well, I mean, some of the things that you're feeling are very real. And, whether it makes sense to someone else or not is not the point. It's helping you understand how you feel and helping you figure out how to navigate through that. Just to be the best version of who you want to be. So we're going to move into I'm going to ask you some questions about the background of the current illness, just so I have an understanding of what's happening. When did you first notice that you were starting to feel depressed?
I'd say this has been going on for probably over 2 years now.
Okay.
So
Right. And is it like every day, all day in the 2 years, or is it kind of like episodes that last so long?
I would say that, like, for instance, right now, uh, I've been feeling just very sad, very just blah.
Right.
And this has been going on for over 2 weeks. And it's kind of got a pattern where I'll go about 2 to 3 weeks just feeling like this. And then I'll have a break where it's not as bad, you know?
Sure.
And then I'll just go back to feeling like that again for another, couple weeks or so. It's just been going on for, a couple of years now.
Okay. Do you think, or can sometimes it's hard for us to notice what this offer triggers us, but some people are real able to do that. Has anything significant or specific happened that you think in the last 2 years, since you said it's about the timeline, that would have justified this happening?
No, and I've tried to think of some kind of something that happened,
Mhm.
but I can't. And I've asked my husband, my friends, if like, have I missed something, and none of us can come up with anything. It just started happening.
Okay. And was it real intense at first, or was it kind of like a gradual onset?
It kind of creeped up on me. Because I noticed that I was feeling kind of blonde down, but I didn't really think anything of it. It was actually my husband that pointed it out. He asked me, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you, this isn't how you typically act.
So when
So,
someone like your husband or someone else asks you, like, what's wrong with you, sometimes that can almost be, as I like to say, challenge words, like, what's wrong with me? I mean,
yeah.
how does that make you feel when even when it's your husband? Because we love our husbands, but still, there's those moments, some things you just can't handle.
Well, sometimes I'm kind of irritable and he'll ask me that and then we start a fight. But, you know, but I sit and I think, there is something wrong with me, and he's right, you know, like, why wouldn't he ask me that? And I've had friends who have asked me, um, what's going on with me? Why, why do I feel and act like this?
Right, right. So just because we always have to evaluate for safety, we always have to ask, have you had any thoughts of suicide or a plan to ever hurt yourself or someone else?
No, I've never felt like that.
Okay. All right. And if you did feel like that, do you feel like you are the type of person that could reach out for help? That could say, hey, I'm going to a bad place, or do you feel like you would need someone else to notice that for you?
No, I think that that's something that I'd be able to openly talk about
Okay.
because my husband, he's really supportive.
Yeah.
He's really concerned about me. He checks up on me, even though like I'm acting the way I am, and I'm actually kind of standoffish with him. He's still, you know,
All right. Well, sounds like
that's
he's committed to you, which is nice when we're in, low places in life. Um, do you feel that the symptoms you're describing to me are affecting the way you function throughout, like just your daily activities? Like,
oh, absolutely.
all right,
You know, like I said, it's affecting my relationships with my family and my friends, and uh, you know, one of the main reasons why I'm here is because it's affecting my performance at work.
mhm,
I'm having trouble concentrating and remembering things. Um, I just feel blah and I don't really feel like doing anything, so I sit around a lot, like in the house by
okay.
myself.
So in that same thread, I know you feel really blah and low, but and I understand it's causing problems in the way you feel like you function daily compared to your norm. But are you still able to shower and, address eating and drink, all that kind of stuff?
Well, I still continue to eat
Mhm.
just because I have to. Like I know that I have to continue to eat that way I don't get sick, you know. Um but the like fixing my hair, putting makeup on,
Sure.
nah, you know,
Yeah.
like I
Not
don't
high on the
care.
priority list right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I don't really care what my hair looks like anymore.
Okay.
I mean, I don't go around dirty, but yeah, I
Sure.
don't. It getting in the shower in the morning used to be a priority for me, and now, you know.
Yeah, I get you. All right. Do you well, who would you identify as your immediate support system?
My husband and my kids.
Okay. Now, do you lean on your extended family or like certain friends for support, or does it go out that far for you?
Not really, because honestly, I'm the strong one, you know.
So do you
Supposed to
think
be
that
the
you're possible?
strong one.
What? every family needs one. Um, do you feel like you're isolating from your friends and extended family?
Yeah, I do.
And
Because
what
I
do you think?
just,
Why do you think you're doing it? Is it just because you don't want to be there,
yeah,
or is like
I,
you feel like there's problems there? Or
I don't feel like being around anybody. And
Mhm,
I don't feel like people would want to be around me
mhm,
because I feel useless,
okay,
and I feel like I don't add anything to other people's lives. I don't feel like doing anything. Um, I'm not great with conversation because there's so little, like, I don't really care about anything. I don't crack jokes like I used to,
mhm,
yeah.
okay. Um, and based on what you said, I can assume, but I want to just make sure first. What would you measure your energy level like?
Oh,
Like
like
a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best.
like a two, one,
Okay.
two,
All right.
being like very low,
Mhm.
which
What is
doesn't
your
make any sense because I don't get any sleep.
Okay.
So
Well, that was my next question. What is your sleep like? Are you getting an 8-hour day or less, or no?
I used to sleep like 7 to 8 hours every night.
Mhm.
Now I'm probably getting maybe 5 to 6, maybe if I'm lucky.
And is that consistent, like straight in a row, or is it interrupted?
Uh, what usually happens, I've started taking melatonin and that'll help me fall asleep,
Mhm.
but it doesn't keep me asleep. I usually wake up around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and then I'm awake for about an hour and a half and then I fall asleep. But then I typically wake up at 4:30 in the morning, even though I'm dog tired, I can't fall back asleep.
Sure. All right. So does that affect how you concentrate or are able to complete tasks?
Yeah. I like I said, I I've been with the employer that I'm at now for like 10 years.
Mhm.
And I've always produced I I'm a good employee. Like I'm dedicated, but these past 2 years, there's been a definite drop. I've been written up, and like I had a talk with my supervisor about all this stuff, and you know that's one of the main reasons why I'm here because I've got to get help or I'm gonna lose my job.
Right. Well, I'm
You
glad
know,
you were willing to be. I mean, it's hard to be vulnerable and you're in a vulnerable position, but we're here to try to help and, respectfully get you to where you want to be and that, you're able to function the way you want to function and move through life the way you want to. Um, with that, do you have any activities that you do that you find joy in or bring you some comfort or anything?
I
No.
like to try to take naps, which
Right.
doesn't typically work out too well, but
Okay.
that's about it.
All right.
I don't have any TV shows that I really want to watch. And I
Sure.
go to work and come home and that's it.
Okay. So we're going to move into like past history, not just the current situation, just to help give me a big picture of everything. Um, do you have any history of psychiatric or mental health issues outside of this situation? Okay. And have you ever had any previous hospitalizations?
Not for mental health stuff.
Mhm.
I had a C-section with my son. Like I had a piece of glass removed from my foot like
Sure.
decades ago.
Okay.
Just
All right. Prior to this time, have you ever sought counseling before? Okay. So you just really have felt like this is I'm assuming like an all new time low. Okay. Well, I mean, it takes an insightful person, even into ourselves, to realize, hey, I'm at that point, I need help. Because it is you're being willing to give over to someone else and say, hey, I need to talk about things that hurt. And and especially when it's somebody you're not real sure of, And that's okay not to be sure of me because I'm new to you. But it's also the starting of learning and developing that trust and confidence. Um, so with staying in that same thread are you currently on any medications that especially relate to any type of medical or mental health?
Nothing for mental health. I take Singulair for my allergies, and I have an inhaler for my
Mhm.
asthma that I'll use. So,
Okay. And at what point in this scenario did you, with what you're going through right now, did you decide it's time to get help with what's going on?
well, the past 3 months have been really difficult for my husband and I,
Mhm.
just because of all this. It's almost like it's building.
Okay.
And then really the last straw was when I had a talk with my supervisor. You know, I can't lose my job because that's going to cause more trouble at home, put more stress on, and I can't lose my family.
So
So,
is your employer supportive of your seeking help and helping
oh,
you move through
absolutely.
this? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a sign, that's a type of support. We need support in different ways. Excuse me. We already talked about safety a little bit, and and you said you've not had thoughts of suicide or hurting anybody else. Are you currently, is your home environment a safe place while as you navigate through this process
Oh,
toward,
yeah.
a healthier place? Okay. Um, so just recapping, you've said that you have been very low, irritable, um, you said sad, just sort of isolating from like extended family and friends. You seem to have kept your children and your husband in your personal circle well. Um, that there's no real heavy previous history prior to this episode as far as outside of this situation. Um, I guess my next thought is, are you experiencing any other type of what you would consider mental health issues while with this, like anxiety or, can't let certain thoughts go or things like that?
No,
Oh,
no.
all
I
right.
mean, the anxiety might, I think if I actually cared, maybe, but I don't care about much.
I mean, we don't want to be there, but it's okay to be there now because we're going to work through that. Um, let's see. Have you had any like mood changes, like outside of what your norm is?
I mean, like the irritability and just feeling sad. Like that's not the kind of person I am.
Okay. So on a good day, how would you describe your personal disposition?
Well, before all this started, I'm a pretty positive person, you know. Um, I mean, I like to joke around. Um, I like to do things and be around people and be outside and stuff like that.
Okay. Right. Let's see. And I know we talked about if any significant event happened to trigger this situation, but can you think of any time in your childhood or teenage years or early adulthood up to this point, like any type of event that would have been traumatic enough that even if you didn't get into this type of situation, sort of a depressive situation that might be, something we need to address or that could be filtering into this?
No, I mean I've not had any issues.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Your current symptoms, are they affecting your physical health at all?
No, not that I know of. The only thing is just the sleep.
Right.
Like my lack of sleep, um, just killing my energy,
Sure.
focus, concentration, you know, might
Well,
be
and
what's making me irritable, just no energy.
right. Well, our bodies are like a complex system, like a robot. And if all the pieces aren't there, it's not going to work. And, if you are sleep deprived, you're not going to be able to think clearly. And if you were already experiencing more depressive like symptoms, and that's affecting your sleep, you're just going to be even that much more off track. So it's like bringing all the right pieces, putting it back together. And that way you can function at your best potential. Some people, their best potential is like get up in the morning, cook breakfast, take a mid-morning nap. But for someone your age who's ready to go to work, get kids out of school, energetic, that what you're now is not where you're normally at. So we're trying to get you back to where you normally, like your baseline, and just make sure try to help whatever's caused creating this situation, that it may not just magically go away, but we want to equip you with tools to help you encounter it in the future. And then we're always here to fall back on. And, and there's nothing wrong with counseling. I'm a fan of thinking everybody should try it out.
Right.
Okay. So do you feel that this situation has caused a lot of relational challenges for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've kind of alluded to that. I just want to make sure that I give you every opportunity. So if I were to have a picture of you and show you, what would you say about you? How would you describe yourself?
Blah.
Long.
Boring,
Okay.
uninteresting,
Yeah.
crabby. I feel like I let myself and everybody down.
Mhm.
That's pretty much how I felt for the past good while,
Mhm.
past couple of years. Just feel like
Okay.
I'm just letting everybody down, just boom, 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 boom.
So you
One after
don't have a good picture of yourself right now.
another.
Okay. Is there any history of substance abuse?
No.
Okay. Any like addiction issues like gambling, food addictions, any of that? Okay. Not, and how about social media? Anything like that you're overly involved in?
I mean, not. I mean, I like to get on my phone and stuff and get on TikTok, and I have this little game that I play sometimes, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. Any past medical issues like chronic medical conditions? I know you mentioned asthma earlier. Um, how long have you been dealing with that?
Couple of months.
Okay, a couple months. So
It's
it's
the
fairly
asthma
new.
things just started. That's a new thing.
Okay. And do you feel, is there any other type of medical history that we should be aware of that could possibly be affecting what's going on?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. Um, let's see. I know you said you had a C-section. Is that the only surgery you've ever had, or?
Yeah, that's the only major surgery I've had.
Okay. And do you have any allergies to any type of medications, anything like that?
I'm allergic to penicillin.
Okay. And I know you mentioned you take Singular for like seasonal allergies. Do you have anything else like food sensitivities or any of that kind of thing?
I mean, I'm allergic to molds.
Hmm.
And I can't eat yeast, but that's been ever since I was a teenager.
Right.
That's
It would
nothing
be
new.
hard because yeast is in any kind of bread, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there any family history of like mental health issues? Anything that could be hereditary that you know of or anything?
I mean, my mom suffered like she had depression,
Mhm.
but I mean, she dealt with that. Oh my goodness. Like I'm 45 and this just started a couple years ago.
Okay.
When my mom had that, like she lived with it for as long as I could remember. Like I remember being, like 15, 12 years old and knowing that she had that,
Okay.
so she was in her early 30s, mid 30s, and she just always had it after
Okay.
that.
So now we're going to move into sort of a social history. Tell me about your social history as far as you can back as you can remember. And when I say social, like were you involved in clubs? Did you have a lot of friends or not a lot of friends? A lot of family interactions, or was your family more nuclear and stay at home kind of stuff?
Um, I had a few close friends.
Mhm.
And I don't really have a lot of connections with my family, like outside of my, like my first degree family members.
Sure.
We're
Okay.
not very close.
All right. Any type of behavioral or learning disabilities or developmental issues as a child?
No.
Okay. How far did you go in school?
I have a bachelor's degree.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about spiritual history or spiritual issues. Do you have a faith that you cling to?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that?
I'm a Baptist.
Okay. And do you excuse me, do you find that you find support in them, or even just like the principles we grow up with regardless of the religion? Do you find that those are helping you move through this, or has it been hard to cling to those ideals?
No, it's definitely helped.
Okay. All right. um and have you ever been in the military? Okay. And do you have any criminal background or pending charges that would affect our treatment? Okay. Do you have any hobbies that you find or like this is like a do it or die kind of stuff?
I mean, I used to enjoy hiking and camping.
Okay. Have you done any of that since you've been experiencing this?
I mean, I'll take my son on hikes because I know he enjoys it. So I'll do that.
Mhm.
But I don't enjoy it anymore like I used to.
Okay. Um, Let me ask you two questions. The first one is, what do you like the most about yourself, and what do you like the least about yourself?
Well, I used to like my upbeat personality, you know,
Mhm. my
my positivity, and now like what I least like about myself is that I don't feel that anymore.
Okay. All right. Do you have anyone outside of how we're talking that you would confide in what you're going through?
My husband.
Okay. All right. What do you think your friends like about you?
I mean, they've always enjoyed, because I am positive, I'm positive and funny. So,
Sure. Sure. All right. Let's see. How long have you been married?
oh, since 2001.
Okay. So about 21 years. Okay. And do you have children?
Yes.
Okay. How many?
I have a 15-year-old son and I have a 30-year-old stepdaughter.
Okay. All right. We're almost to the end of this. Just a couple more things. As far as like, what the plan is, I will come together and I will collaborate or collectively create a report of all the information you've shared with me. And then at our next meeting, we will talk about some possible like treatments or interventions. If you have any, especially anything emergency, I'm going to leave you my card with my name and number. It'll also have my email. If it's after hours, our office has a hotline that you can call and they will immediately get a hold of me. So, we can work through whatever comes your way. But then the the reason for bringing everything together collectively, it gives us a big map. And we see, okay, this is where we were, this is where we're at, this is where we want to be. And this is going to be, this is really reliant on your input as to how you see your situation. And, because I can create and say, hey, I think you should do this or that. but we want you to self-determine what you want and
Right.
where you want to see yourself. And,
Yeah.
and it may take time to really, be real specific about where you want to be again. Sometimes, the first big goal is just getting to that. I made it through today, and in the morning I'm going to take a shower, and actually arriving at it and achieving it. And, and some actions are going to be purposeful in the beginning, but
Right.
real slowly, the goal is to slowly just come back and be natural. Excuse me. We'll create a case plan, and, like I said, a lot of that's going to be based on your input. And at this point, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. Well, it was great to meet you. And like I said, I definitely, please call me if you need me. And let's get you scheduled for your next appointment.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.